Hello everyone, I am Paul with many voices and welcome to this very special episode of Banished, where today I'm going to be talking on how to get all of the achievements in the game. And we're going to be starting out with Mountain Men, the one where you have to start a completely separate playthrough. Normally this is going to be your starting screen, however for this one you need a small map, a mountainous map, harsh climates. You need to have a population of 50 and maintain it for 20 years. Now, I've managed to do this after I think about 16 tries in about 3.5 hours. So if you play and you play for 3.5 hours and you're skilled enough with the game, you can actually succeed this. However, it does not state that you need to use hard or medium or easy starting conditions, nor does it state whether or not you need disasters. So make yourself an easy start. Turn off disasters, starting conditions on easy, and you'll have a slightly better time. Next up, we're gonna talk about the achievements that just require you to have a certain amount of people. There are no limitations and no other challenges involved other than just having them available in your town. The first one is settlement, where you need to reach a population of 300. Now this is Voicetopia, an earlier save, where at late summer, year 46, I had just over 300 people. Around year 75, 76, Voicetopia reached the second milestone in terms of population challenges. For a village, you need to have a population of 600 people. As you can see, year 76, probably just 76, 608 citizens. That's all you need. We look at year 93 winter. To see citizens 915. For the next achievement, town, you need to reach a population of 900 citizens. And just like with settlement, and just like with village, there are no other challenges involved. Next up are two achievements that involve the professions. The Jack of all trades achievement requires you to build a town of over 200 population and have somebody working in each profession. As for the builder, which is the next achievement I want to talk about, you need to build a town that has at least one of every possible structure. So there is a purpose for me having kept this one single wooden house. Now I cannot confirm or deny whether or not a wooden house is mandatory for this achievement, but better safe than sorry. One wooden house is all you need just to make sure you have this. Now that we've talked about the builder achievement, let's talk about the master builder achievement. Build a town with 3 churches, 5 boarding houses, 4 markets, 5 hospitals, 2 trading posts, a total of 6 taverns, and of course your town hall. And this is why I started to rebuild my boarding houses after I demolished them. For the achievement tombstones, you need to fill graveyards with at least 400 graves. Now a 20 by 20 cemetery, which is the largest you could build, you can house a total of 144 graves. So basically build 3 of these, kill off your population, and you should be done. Sinister, but necessary for the achievement. These next 3 achievements require you a population of 200. Let's just say for safety, adults. Educated requires you to have a population of 200 educated adults, so you need skills for that for 4 years straight. For blacksmith, which is not just a building but an achievement as well, you need to equip a population of over 200 adults with steel tools, so no iron tools allowed for this one. Of course, steel tools are less brittle and will last a little longer. Now lastly, for stylish, you need to have your tailors make warm coats and clothe 200 people for 4 years. Now this is the only achievement that doesn't specify you need adults, but it does kind of specify you need to have a trading dock so you can get shippy. Now together with the settlement achievement, if you go for achievement hunting, you could go for the uneducated achievement, in which you need to reach a population of 300 citizens without ever building a schoolhouse. Now this is a dangerous thing, because remember, you're a woodcutter, if uneducated, will take a single log and make 3 firewood out of it, whereas an educated woodcutter will take 1 log and make 4 firewood out of it. At the same time, your blacksmiths, uneducated, their tools will be a lot more brittle and thus break easier, and thus you'll go through a lot of tools a lot of resources to keep on making tools a lot faster, whereas an educated worker, especially making steel tools, they will last a lot longer and we shall have an easier time. And for the next achievement, Isolationist, you need to reach a population of 300 citizens without ever building a trading dock. So in Voicetopia, this area which I dubbed Rotterdam should not exist. Of course I already had the achievement before I started Voicetopia, so it's a lot easier. Now a downside of not building any trading docks is that of course you cannot get any of the other trading items. So you start with one seed for your orchards, you start with one seed for your farms, and you start with no animals to domesticate in your pastures. So you're not gonna get wool coats, you're not gonna get a lot of food variety, and that's gonna make your people unhappy and cold. Continuing to focus on the trading post for the achievements. Trader requires you to trade over 50,000 units in total using one single town. It doesn't mean one single trading post, just in a single town. You could have, for instance, as I have here, entirely Rotterdam, a lake with 4, 5, 6 trading posts. As long as you trade over 50,000 in total, you'll get the trader, and as long as you trade over 100,000 units in total, you'll get the master trader. So as you can see, if I were to trade everything here, I would still be overpaying by 22,000, but you need 50,000 and 100,000 respectively for trader and master trader. Whereas this next achievement requires you to have specific items in at least one trading dock. 200 worm coats, 300 steel tools and 500 ale for exports. And there's a very cheesy way to do this. Once you have your single trading post, stuff it full with other stuff and trade for specifically this amount of these items, and in your inventory have your inventory set to these amounts and just wait until you have enough trading done to get all of these items. Easy to do once you know how. And now for the achievement that I deem pretty much the hardest in the game. One with nature requires you to build a town, reach 400 citizens without ever building a single crop field, orchard and pasture. The only food sources you're allowed to have is your fishing dock, your gatherer's hut and your hunting cabin. Luckily, however, you are allowed to have your trading post and use that to trade for food. However, me being me, I wanted to do a challenge run back in the day, and so I tried for uneducated, isolationist and one with nature. Ultimately, that failed and I had to do 2 separate playthroughs altogether. One where I got uneducated and isolationist in one, and another one entirely where I had one with nature. Trust me, this one is hard. This next achievement is bugged. While it states that for firefighter you need to have a town with 20 wells, it lies and it demands 40 wells. Now it's kind of stupid that the developers have abandoned this game without ever fixing this, but it's a fact. It's important to know that you need 40 wells. I remember when I first did the achievement run and I built 20 wells, I counted them and I didn't get the achievement, and then I kept building wells, I counted all of them, and once I had my 40th well, then I got the achievement at last. However, each market that you build has a well as well, but it doesn't count as a well. It's just aesthetics. So having markets does not help you get the firefighting achievement. For these next 3 achievements, you also need a trading outpost, because you need to acquire all 3 livestock types, all 8 crop seed types and all 8 orchard seed types to get the farmer achievement. And you can keep track of which one you have in your 10 hole trading items. You can keep track of that. For the next one, livestock. You need to build a town that contains 60 cattle, 75 sheep and 180 chickens. The best way that I found is to build 3 of each maximum sized pastures. So 20 by 20 pastures, 9 in total, 3 of each, and you should be fine eventually, because of course it takes time for your livestock to grow and multiply. Lastly, for the food variety achievement, you need to grow and harvest 8 different plants and 8 different orchard trees in a single year. So it requires you to use all of this and all of this. So you need at least 8 farms and at least 8 orchards once you have all of these seeds available. The last achievement involving food is foodie, in which for a single year you need to produce at least 2,000 food of each from hunters, gatherers, fishermen, pastures, fields and orchards. Now as you can see, only my gatherer's hut last season collected enough to satisfy this need for just the gatherer, but I would need to have 2 hunting cabins, plenty of orchards, plenty of bean fields and at least 2 pastures of 20 by 20. And my fishing dock, well, it's prone to overfishing, extinction, so you need a lot of fishing docks for that as well. Next up, we've got a miner. Maintain 2 active mines for a period of 3 years, where each mine has 30 people working in it. Now by default, once you start to build a new mine, it's gonna default to 15 people, but by just clicking this 15 times, you're gonna allow for 30 people in it maximum. Mason requires you to have 2 quarries with the exact same rule set, 30 people in them, each active for 3 years. So just like your mines, your quarries are gonna default to 15 people each. Just upgrade that to 30, maintain that for 3 years, and you're done. Be careful though, be careful. You're gonna run through a lot of tools and a lot of food really quick. For the achievement Lumberjack, you need to produce 50,000 logs within a period of 100 years. This is going to require a lot of foresters. At the same time, Stoneworks requires you to produce 10,000 stone within a 100-year period. Now, I sadly cannot confirm or deny whether or not the natural spawning stone will count towards this. I'm gonna play it safe and say it doesn't. Lastly, the smelter requires you to produce 10,000 iron within a period of 100 years. Once again, just like with Stoneworks, I cannot confirm or deny whether or not the natural spawning iron will count towards this or not. So once again, I'm gonna play it safe and say that it doesn't. And this does mean that there is not an achievement for coal. Remember this house? The only wooden house with the only bit of dirt path? Well, this is how you want to start out your town. Build wooden houses, build dirt paths. But eventually, once you've got your quarry up and running, once you've gathered enough stone and you've got plenty of other buildings requiring stone, start building 2,000 tiles worth of stone roads to get the highwaymen. Next up, I'm a sucker for logistics. So once I found out that you could build bridges over lakes like this, or better yet, like this, I knew that the Golden Gate achievement was far too easy for me to get. Not a bridge that is at least 50 tiles long. Strangely enough though, there is no achievement requiring tunnels, so this tunnel does not need to exist. Otherwise, if there was an achievement for tunnels, this tunnel should suffice for that. But sadly, there is no achievement for tunnels. Since I started with wooden houses and I left one wooden house here, eventually you want to upgrade your wooden houses to stone houses. Better yet, you want to build a town with at least 100 stone houses to get the build from stone achievements. Remember this episode, number 27, where I suddenly got 222 nomads? I declined them. However, for the immigrants, I would have to accept them. Allow 200 nomads into a single town. Now, of course, this doesn't mean that I need to have a minimum of 200 nomads in a single go. However, I need a total of 200 nomads. So if I didn't accept any nomads up until this point, and I would have accepted only this batch, I would have achieved it anyway. For the next 2 achievements, we need to take a look at our town hall. For smiles all around, maintain a high happiness for at least 10 years in a town with at least 100 citizens. Now, happiness involves a graveyard, a chapel, a trading post, a market, access to ale, and plenty of other things. Food variety is also very important, but this is an achievement I don't even remember getting, but it was one of the 2 first achievements I've gotten. Along with healthy, maintain a high health for 10 years in a town with at least 100 citizens. Having hospitals, having herbalists, and of course, not accepting nomads that bring in diseases helps out with this achievement. Once again, I don't remember how I got this achievement. I was playing just normally, and I got these 2 achievements right at the same time. And this was, honestly, looking at my Steam achievement list here, unlocked 17 May 2017. It's been quite a while, so I can't really remember how I got them. If you simultaneously store 2,000 blocks, 500 stone, 500 iron, 2,000 fuel, 200 tools, 30,000 food and 200 clothes, you really are ready for anything. Now, notice how it doesn't state any herbs, any alcohol, any coal, despite the fact that it is used for fuel and not any textiles. But if you manage to do this, you truly are ready for anything, according to this achievement. And here we are, finally having reached the end of the achievement list. Established requires you to build a town that has a population of 300 after 100 years. Now, this doesn't mean that you need to reach 300 and keep it at 300 for 100 years, but it requires you to reach year 100 and have 300 people at least. Now, as you can see, I have reached 2,300 by year 171, so I'm in the clear. But finally, tenor, which by the time that I'm recording this, I officially haven't achieved yet, as I'm still in year 171, but you need to reach a population of 500 after 200 years. If I just keep playing the game normally, I shall achieve this, no problem. And that's exactly what I'll do. I'll keep on playing this game in my off time. There are not going to be any videos in between now and then, as there have been no videos in between the last episode and now, as it has taken me quite a bit of time to record this. Also, a lot of work has picked up and I've had to train a new guy. But until then, I hope that you've enjoyed this. I hope that you found this educational. If you did, make sure to leave a thumbs up, it helps out a great deal. I am Paul with many voices, almost 100% done with this game. I thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye. Shippy.